Hey guys, so today I'll be doing another ranking video, and this one will be on full-size headphones that I tried out when I was on a trip to Tokyo. When I was in Japan, I went to two of the best headphone shops in the world, I think, in Tokyo. One was Fujiya Avich in Nakano, and another one was E-Earphone in Akihabara. And they have a lot of different selections of both in-ear monitors and headphones. So I already did a video ranking in-ear monitors. So this one will be on the full-size headphones that I tried, or over-ear headphones that I tried when I was in earphone mainly. I did try some in Fujiya, but yeah, mainly earphone. They have a wide selection. So I'll be ranking it based on tier, as in my other videos. So D tier means below average technicalities for the price, or I just don't like the tuning for some reason. C means just average technicalities for the price, or the tuning's just average. B means above average tuning for the above average technicalities for the price, or I like the tuning a lot on that. A means excellent. A tier is usually like, yeah, tuning's really good and technicalities are very much so above the price. And S tier are reserved for just some of my favorite full-size headphones that I've ever listened to. So, or some of the best full-size headphones that I've listened to. So yeah, stay tuned. First off, I'm going to start off with an IEM. Now, I know this is not a full-size headphone, and this video is about full-size headphones, but I already did an IEM ranking video, and I'm too lazy or don't want to redo the entire video just for one IEM. So I just wanted to add this one. This technically belongs to my IEM ranking video. But anyways, Truth Ear Gate is from a Chinese company, a Chi-Fi company, if you will, that makes normally budget IEMs. This is only 20 bucks US, which actually makes it one of the cheapest IEMs I ever tried. Maybe it is the cheapest IEM I ever tried, actually, but it sounds really good for the price, and that's why I'm going to put it in the A tier here, because the tonality and the balanced tuning is quite nice. Like, nothing's like sounds too recessed or too pushed up. It just, tuning is quite balanced, I think, as one dynamic driver, so it sounds quite coherent. And technicalities, I think, are very much above average for the price. So it actually did impress me. It sounded like a $400, maybe even $500 IEM, to be honest, and it's only 20 bucks. So I was actually very impressed with it. So yeah, Truth Ear Gate, I'm going to put in the A tier here. And yeah, this is the only IEM in this video. I just put it in here because I didn't want to redo my 2-hour IEM ranking video just for one IEM. So yeah, I just tried this one recently, that's why. So anyways, yeah, if you guys are looking for an absolutely stellar quality, incredible value IEM for 20 bucks, pick this one up. Okay, so I'm going to start off with the D tier here. D tier generally, yeah, this is below average. These are the headphones I didn't like. So the Beyerdynamic T1.3. 1.3 means it's the T1 and the third generation of it. So I remember in my previous full-size headphone ranking video, and I owned the Beyerdynamic T1.2 before. 1.2 actually, even though technicalities are kind of below average for its price, I actually kind of liked it because like there is something a little bit unique about it with the organic mid-range that comes out of it, and the very warm sounding mid-range. Yeah, with 1.3, I do not like this one at all. There's almost no redeeming qualities for this because the bass levels are basically dialed up to 11. Like, already I could feel like the T1.2, the second generation T1, already had this warm bass, but it was tolerable, right? This thing, third generation, it's incredibly muddy because the bass is dialed up to 11. It's got way too much bass, and it's way too warm, and it just drowns out everything. So yeah, this, I don't know what Beyerdynamic was thinking with the third generation, but there's way too much warm bass on this, and it just overpowers everything else. It drowns out everything else. The mids, the treble, the bass is not even good quality. It's just very muddy sounding bass. So overall, yeah, nothing good I can say about the 1.3. Even 1.2, I know it was not a perfect headphone anyway, but at least the mids are quite good, or like decent sounding mids, because it was nice, warm, organic sounding mids. Good for vocals and stuff. But man, the third generation has nothing good about it at all. So yeah, I'm gonna have to put this in D tier. So I have another Beyerdynamic headphone in the D tier here. The Amaron Home, which retails for 600 bucks US, I think. Yeah, did not like this one at all because everything lacked detail. It just sounded very veiled to me. And not just veiled, but everything kind of sounded distant and far away. So it's it's basically just lacking a lot of forwardness. And basically, I just think it lacks detail, right? Everything sounding far away is basically lacking detail. So yeah, I thought this was very overpriced. Honestly, I don't know what Beyerdynamic was thinking, because at this price point, you can easily get the DT1998 Pros, which sound way better than this. So I don't understand the point of this headphone. Like, maybe, I don't know, what was I wearing it wrong or something, but then it's like, it's full size, right? So it's like you just put the ear cups on you, and I don't know, it just didn't sound very good to me. Like, to me, there's no reason to choose this headphone over DT1998 Pros or 1770 Pros, you know? So I don't know. It's just not a good headphone for me, I think. So also in the D tier is the HiFiMan Auto Venus. I think for people who have tried the Auto Venus, I think a lot of people are probably disappointed with this, because the thing is, these are supposed to be like the flagship HiFiMan closed-back headphones, and HiFiMan, unfortunately, I don't think they make very good closed-backs. They're really good at open backs, but closed backs, yeah, I just don't think they're very good at them, and I haven't really heard any HiFiMan closed back I really like so far. But the Auto Venus sounds like the Ananda closed back, I think, which is not a good thing, because this is way more expensive than Ananda closed back. It's just way overpriced for the amount of detail that you get out of it. So it's like a $2,000 headphone, but it sounds like a $500 headphone, I think. So this is just really, really overpriced. The amount of, yeah, the technicalities that you get out of it is, yeah, is really below average for what you're paying. So in the D tier is the Ultrasone Signature Fusion by the German headphone company Ultrasone, which I haven't tried too many of the headphones, but I did not like this one. I felt the treble sounded a little bit too tinny for me. Mids sounded a bit whiny, and the bass is, yeah, not that great either. So it's very below average detail for the price, I think. So I was not impressed with this one at all. Yeah, overall, I just think the sound signature was not for me, and technicalities were below average. So anyways, this one goes in D tier for me. The V-Moda M100 Pro. This is a bass head headphone. The bass is way too bloated, and it just drowns out everything else, basically. So yeah, that's why it's in the D tier. I'm not a bass head, so of course, it's not like I don't like bass. I like to have a reasonable amount of bass. You know, I don't like too neutral or too lean bass either, but this is way too much. And yeah, this is pretty much just for like bass heads, I would say. So it's not for me. I just think the bass is, yeah, it's pushed up way too high, and it just drowns out everything else, drowns out the mids. And yeah, I like to be able to hear my mids. So Austrian Audio X50. I think I did a review on the X55 before, but I don't like either of these. So I think I put X55 in the D tier as well in my previous ranking video. But the X50s are just below average detail all across the board. Technicalities are very much below average. The mids probably stand out the most, but they're also very veiled sounding. And also they're quite uncomfortable on the ears, I would say. They're almost like a on-ear headphone. So overall, yeah, not much good about this one. I think you can probably just find much better for the price. So yeah, pretty disappointed. Just like the X55, I'm going to put this one in D tier. The Sendy Apollo. This is by Sendy Audio, which is a sister brand of Sivga, I think, which means it's Chinese. Yeah, this one I didn't like either. Treble is kind of recessed. Bass is a little bit too much and too forward. And all around below average technicalities, below average detail, I would say. So yeah, wasn't very impressed with this one. So anyways, this one was going in the D tier here. Just overall, yeah, I don't like the fact that too much bass, too little treble, and just below average technicalities across the board. So Tongsu Aux Demon King. This one I found quite disappointing, because I like Tongsu IEMs, and I think that's what they should focus on, because Tongsu is a Chi-Fi company making some pretty good IEMs for the value and for the price. But the full-size stuff like this, I don't know, not very good. So yeah, the Aux Demon King is below average technicalities and detail across the board. Sounds pretty veiled to me. The bass is too bloated, bleeds into the mids, and is not very good quality. So yeah, it's muddy sounding and everything. Overall, not very good. So the Dakoni collaboration that they did with HiFiMan called the Cobalt. So Dakoni is They don't really make headphones. They actually make collaborations with other manufacturers sometimes. They're usually known for making just ear pads, like aftermarket type of accessories for headphones. But yeah, sometimes they do collaborations like this. And this one I don't like. Yeah, actually, it might be the fact that it's a HiFiMan closed back as well. It's way too much treble. It's way too bright. The bass is very light and lean. It's not very balanced at all. Yeah, this is just like overall, just not very good tuning. Yeah, the bass is not balanced with the high amount of treble, I would say. So yeah, not very good. All right, so this is the Sivga P2 Pro. It's got a neutral balance tuning, but it sounds very veiled and it lacks detail just throughout the range. So yeah, that's the issue with it. Not, the tuning is okay. It's like, I'm not a huge fan of neutral, but it's okay. I don't hate it either. But just the fact that I think it lacks the technicalities. I don't like the veiled sound, you know. I know like some Sennheisers are like that, but yeah, I want to have the detail, you know. So lacking detail for the price, I would say. So the Sivga Peng, also by the Chinese company Sivga. This one is more V-shaped, so it's got like a bass boost and it's got a treble boost, and the mids are a bit recessed, but otherwise it's pretty similar to the P2 Pro, which means it's got veiled sound and it's lacking detail across the board. So yeah, again, it's pretty much like in terms of technicalities, yeah, this is below average, similar to P2 Pro. It just got different tuning. That's it. P2 Pro is more neutral. Peng is a bit more V-shaped, but both of them have below average technicalities for the price. Okay, so the AKG K872. I can't believe this is actually $2,000. And what's even more disappointing is from the this is from a storied historic headphone brand, AKG, right? You would think that they would make a better headphone than this for this price. This is being one of their flagship headphones, I believe. Yeah, it's got pretty good soundstage, but the details are very average. So yeah, the technicalities are just very, very average, and it sounds a bit thin. Like there's some frequencies around the mid bass and the lower mids that are quite recessed, I think. It's just very thin sounding. So yeah, overall, I was quite disappointed with this one. You know, for $2,000, like, no, like, yeah, I was quite disappointed for it. So yeah, I think I'm gonna put this one in the D tier here. It's just like, for the price, it shouldn't sound like this. Okay, Crosszone CZ1 here. This is like the most expensive, one of the most expensive headphones they had on offer at earphone. And honestly, like, I could not believe this is $2,500. It sounds very veiled, lacks detail, and sounds very muffled. And also it's V-shaped with recessed mids. So the tuning is something I don't like because it's recessing the mids too much. And the technicalities is very below average. So it's definitely quite overpriced, I would say. Like, even at $1,000, I would say it's kind of overpriced, right? Like I kind of just couldn't believe this was this expensive. $2,500, and look how it looks. Like, it looks kind of silly and ridiculous having this on your head, right? Like, just look at it, right? Yeah, I have no idea what this company was thinking when they made this, because yeah, $2,500. It sounds like a $500 headphone. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest here. So pretty bad, I would say. So the Audio-Technica M70X. This is by the popular Japanese headphone and also turntable and phono cartridge company, microphone company, Audio-Technica. Yeah, this is like a level up from their popular M50X, and this is fine for the price. I think it's a bit treble forward. Sounds bright, but hey, a lot of Japanese headphones do sound bright. Bass is a little bit lean. Details about average, so technicalities about average and everything. So overall, it's okay, you know, about average for the price, which is where it belongs here in the C tier. So the Beyerdynamic DT880 Pros, about average detail and technicalities, I would say. Leans kind of neutral-ish. I would say that this is like kind of a lesser version of DT700 Pro X in my opinion. And I have the 700 Pro X or the 770 Pros. I think that this is not quite as good as those, but it's not bad either, you know. That's why I put DT700 Pro X in the A tier when I reviewed it, because I just think it's probably like a better version of this for not much more price. But this is okay. You know, I think a lot of people will be fine with this if they want something that kind of is decent sounding and kind of neutral-ish, you know, for kind of the studio monitoring stuff. So the Beyerdynamic T5.3, which means it's the third generation of the T5s. These are the closed back versions of the T1s. I actually like this a little bit better than the T1.3s. I mean, it's not hard to be better than that headphone. So it's not quite as bad as that. But the tuning is still kind of weird, you know. It sounds like some parts of the mids are kind of recessed and the other parts are kind of pushed up. I can't exactly pinpoint where in the mids, but it just sounds a little bit weird to me. But at the same time, I'm not going to say that it's like bad, because it's like the 1.3, okay, I had a really pushed up bass and it just, you know, that drowns out everything else. That's just bad. But it's just like this one just sounds interesting, I guess. It's an interesting tuning. Detail and soundstage are okay, about average. Songs just sound a little bit different on this. So it's not like it sounds better, but it's just, the tuning is just kind of odd, but it's, at the same time, I can't say it's bad. It's just weird. And yeah, it's songs just kind of sound different on this. So I'm not going to say it's a D because it's, I don't necessarily hate the tuning. It's just different, you know. So anyways, I'll put that in the C tier here because I don't outright hate it like I do the T1.3s. Okay, so the HiFiMan Edition XVs, these are, I think, the newer version of their HiFiMan editions. Yeah, it's similar to the Anandas, I would say, except it's got a bit more bass and a little bit less detail in soundstage. Or you can consider it the XS with a bit more detail. So anyways, I would say this is just okay for the price. Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with it, but at the same time, I think it's not quite as good value as XS is. I think XS is still a bit better value for that price. But this is okay, you know, it's decent. If you like to have like a little bit more bass, but still like decent sounding overall, fairly, yeah, it's like balanced, but with a little bit more bass, and technicalities are just average. Yeah, it's okay. The limited edition versions of the HiFiMan Audivinas, which cost far less than the originals. The original Audivina cost $2,000. This cost $400. But the funny thing is that it doesn't actually feel that different than Audivina in terms of the technicalities, even though this is far cheaper. So I'm going to put the C tier because at least it's not as bad value as Audivina is. It's still bright. It's still like not that detailed, I would say. Probably around the same level as Edition XS, except it's got less bass and more treble than the XS. So yeah, I still think I prefer XS over this, or Edition XS over this. But hey, at least is not a terrible value like Audivina is. So, I mean, $400, it's okay, you know, for that price. Audivina was $2,000, and doesn't sound that much better than this one, honestly. The Sennheiser HD 550s. I think these are actually some of their newer headphones, right? Of course, by the renowned headphone brand Sennheiser. This is okay. I found this, you know, the thing is, like, with Sennheiser, to be honest, the only headphone that was really, really impressive from them for me is the HD800s. Other than that, I don't think their other headphones really impressed me all that much. I know they're beloved by audiophiles, but for me, I don't know. I just find most of them like too veiled and too neutral for me. This one is neutral with a bass boost. Still has a bit of a veil, so the detail and technicalities are so-so. They're average for the price. So yeah, I'm gonna put this in the C tier, and this is gonna be the beginning of a bunch of C tiers for me for Sennheiser, because to me, Sennheiser, like, they don't make like really bad headphones per se, except for maybe the HD820s. But for this kind of stuff, the 500 series and the 600 series, honestly, they're all like pretty decent. But I'm not going to say I like really any of them that much, because I don't like too neutral actually. So I also don't like the veil. So yeah, you're gonna see a bunch of C tiers for me for Sennheiser, because honestly, they're just all kind of okay for me mostly. The Sennheiser HD400 Pros, one of their cheaper headphones, I'd say. Still, it's fine though. It's a bit more neutral than the HD 550s. So the 550s are neutral with a bass boost, right? Like I said, but these ones are even more neutral than that because I don't think it even has a bass boost. But otherwise, technicalities are fairly similar. So it's got about average detail and soundstage for its price point, I would say. And yeah, it's fairly neutral, I would say. So again, I'm not a huge fan of the Sennheiser stuff, like because it's like veiled, neutral, doesn't sound that fun. But you know, I'm not going to say they're bad because they're not bad. They're pretty good. A lot of audiophiles will like them. It's just really not for me, so I put them mostly in the C tier here. Okay, another one of Sennheiser's affordable headphones, the HD 569s. This retails for just $150. Actually, you'll find them on sale for even cheaper than that. But yeah, this one's also okay. It's again neutral with a bass boost. So yeah, Sennheiser headphones I find all sound kind of like this, kind of neutral-ish, and some of them have a bit of a bass boost, but it's not like too much. About average detail and technicalities, I would say. So it's okay. I mean, if you're looking for a headphone around 150 bucks, it's not a bad one to pick up. Just personally not for me. I'm not a huge fan of the Sennheiser sound, I would say. So the HD620S, this is apparently the closed back version of the HD600s, which are kind of legendary headphones in the audiophile circles. But you know what? For me, I never really liked the HD600s or 650s that much. Again, a little bit too neutral for me. So yeah, a little bit too veiled as well. So this one sounds like a closed back HD600 or 650. It's the same veil issue. Like I don't like to have that veil sound, which means it doesn't sound very detailed. Technicality is about average, and it's quite neutral sounding, just like the 600 or 650s. So yeah, to me, what I put 650 in this C tier as well, right? So yeah, same thing here. It's just the closed back version essentially. Okay, also in the C tier, another Sennheiser here, the HD660S2, a little bit more expensive than the previous ones. This sounds to me like, again, like other Sennheiser headphones, neutral with a bass boost. So it's like HD600 or 650. I've used the 650s a bit more, so I would say it's like 650s, which are kind of neutral-ish with a bit more bass. Detail slightly better than the HD 650s, but the mids still feel slightly veiled for me. So yeah, it's still kind of got the Sennheiser veil, which I don't like. It's which means it's still, you know, it's more detailed than the HD 650s, but it's not still not quite enough detail for me. So yeah, I'm just gonna put this again, like the other ones in the C tier, because for me it's like a little bit too neutral for me, and then I don't like the veil on the mids. So this is the collaboration that Dakoni did with Fostex. So Fostex is a Japanese headphone company. They make like OEM headphones for other manufacturers, but they also market under their own name. Yeah, this is okay. I think people probably know Fostex the best for the modification of the T50s, but this one is just, I mean, to me it's like average detail and soundstage, so technicalities are kind of average. Needs a lot of power, actually, that's what I noted. Treble forward and bright, it kind of dominates the presentation actually. So yeah, if you like to have something with you know, average technicalities, but kind of bright and treble forward, that's what this is. So to me it's okay. Not really my tuning, but you know, some other people might like it, just not me. The Meze 99 Classics by the Romanian headphone company Meze. Yeah, this is the headphone that really brought them to fame, I would say. So, I mean, they're okay, priced around 300 bucks. I mean, yeah, a lot of people can afford these, and yeah, detail is pretty good with good level of clarity. But I would say, yeah, treble is quite forward and kind of dominates the presentation a bit. I know some people say like the 99 Classics have too much bass as well. But yeah, I guess you can say it's kind of like V-shaped, but very V-shaped. So anyways, if you guys are looking for something like that, you know, good amount of bass and treble, you can check this one out. Not for me though. I don't like the tuning too much. Also, yeah, it looks good. I mean, because it's Meze. They always make their stuff look good with a walnut and yeah, nice wood cups and everything. Okay, the Sivga Oriole, which retails for 200 bucks. Actually, I did like the soundstage on these. The mids and treble are a bit forward, but the bass is very lean, and you can barely even hear the bass on this. So that's the issue with this one. Technicalities, I think, are actually quite good, but the thing is, yeah, the tuning is unbalanced, basically. So, because you have extremely forward mids and treble, but then the bass is very, very recessed. So, yeah, unbalanced tuning. So, anyways, overall, because the technicality is actually quite good, I'm gonna put this in the C tier. The FiiO FT1 Pro. So FiiO, Chinese company, that they make a bunch of digital audio players and IEMs, but they also make full-size headphones as well. And yeah, this one's okay. I mean, for 200 bucks, not too bad. It's similar to I said it's similar to the Sivga Answer, except it's a little bit more V-shaped actually. It's got a little bit more bass, and the mids are actually a bit more recessed. I don't know, some online reviews said it was neutral, but I don't know. It doesn't sound too neutral to me. It sounded more V-shaped to me. So maybe I'm hearing differently or something, but to me the mids were a bit more recessed, and yeah, this one does have like a bass push, so it sounded more V-shaped to me, but it's just okay. And overall technicalities and everything are just average. Okay, so the Kiwi Ears Athea. I actually did not know that Kiwi Ears makes full-size headphones, but I guess they do. They're an IEM maker usually. They make like Chi-Fi IEMs, which are usually affordable, but yeah, I guess they make full-size too. And this one's okay. It's a nice like balanced type of tuning, like a W-shaped sound signature. I guess you can think of it as like Kiwi Ears Orchestra, Orchestra 2. That's a kind of average, balanced type of tuning, right? Very W-shaped. But yeah, the technicalities are quite average on these. So overall, yeah, they're about worth that price. 350 bucks. It sounds like a $350 headphone. So yeah, it's nice tune, nicely tuned. But yeah, it just sounds kind of average, I would say, overall for the price. So the TA Audio Wraiths. So TA Audio, they're mostly known for their IEMs, and they're making Chi-Fi IEMs, but yeah, they also make full size as well. And the Wraith is just okay. I would say technicalities are fairly average. Yeah, average amount of detail, and the tuning is like a U-shaped tuning. It's kind of similar to their popular Monarchs. If you guys have heard the TA Audio Monarch IEMs, the tuning is kind of similar to that. So it's got like a U-shaped type tuning, which is quite balanced actually sounding. It's good for like modern pop music and stuff like that. Not exactly neutral, but fun sounding, I would say. And yeah, average technicalities. I think it's okay. Another one, 550 bucks. Okay, well, yeah, it's okay for that price, I would say. So just average. So the FiiO FT5s. Now, I'm not sure if it's because I just heard this after the TA Audio Wraiths or not, but they sound pretty similar to the TA Audio Wraiths. So technicalities are fairly similar, so like average amount of detail and soundstage. The tuning also seems pretty similar. It's like a U-shaped tuning, right? Actually, I heard this right after the Wraiths, so it's almost like a direct A/B kind of thing where I can say like, yeah, these are fairly similar to the Wraiths in tuning and detail and price as well. It's the exact same price as the Wraiths. So I would say that, yeah, these are pretty much the same as the TA Audio Wraiths. So I'm going to put them in the same tier. So here we have a Grado headphone, and Grado headphones are, they're kind of a pioneer, I would say, in the headphone industry. They've been making them for a long time. They always make them in the USA, in New York. So yeah, they have a storied history. And the RS2X that retails for $550. This is an okay headphone, I would say, for the price. It's got great mids actually. It's very detailed in the mids and the treble. But the thing is the tonal balance, because the treble might be a little bit too much and too fatiguing for some people. And I know this is an issue with a lot of Grados. To some people, they're just too bright and too fatiguing. And yeah, that's the case with the RS2X. I do like the mids, and the treble is very detailed, but again, a little bit too much treble and too bright for some people, I would say. And of course, being a Grado is not very comfortable. It's like almost like an on-ear, right? So that might be an issue as well. So the Sendy Audio Egrets. I haven't been too impressed with Sendy so far. This one is okay. It's very average detail and technicalities for the price, and V-shaped. So yeah, overall, I don't like too V-shaped actually. Like, it drowns out the mids, and a little bit too much bass and too much treble sometimes, but it's okay. I can live with it. It's just very, very average, I would say, overall. So yeah, detail, resolution, soundstage, just very average across the board for this price. And yeah, tuning is yeah, on the V-shaped side, I would say. So just okay for me. Okay, so starting off the B tier is the Audio-Technica WP900, which I did a retrospective of recently because I felt like I was a little bit too hard on it in my first ranking. In my initial ranking of this headphone, I only tested it for a bit and I was like, yeah, it's okay, it's average, you know, it sounds a little bit boxy. So I put it in the C tier, but after listening to it more, and I got this in a recent trade, actually it's quite good, I would say, because like, compared to a lot of Audio-Technica's more expensive stuff, like their tunings get more and more esoteric, I would say, as you move up the chain. So like I've tried AP2000 Ti's, which are definitely on the bright side, maybe too bright for some people. The AWAS, the AWAS, which is kind of leaning neutral, I would say, but also on the bright side. And then the AWKTs, which are just kind of very shrill in the upper treble and very shouty in the mid-range. So it's kind of weird. It gets weird when you get to the expensive Audio-Technica closebacks. WP900 does not have those weird tunings. It has actually more of a mainstream type of tuning. So it has almost a lean Harman type of tuning to it. So it's got, you know, a more of a V-shaped type tuning where it's very energetic and fun sounding. Yeah, I would consider this more of a Harman type of tuning. So it's got a good amount of bass, treble, slightly recessed mids. But overall, I think most people will enjoy this headphone and find it quite fun, actually. And it's actually quite portable as well. It's not that big. It's even got 50mm drivers, but it's not like, the ear cups are not too big or anything like that. So it's actually quite portable. It sounds actually quite good for the size. Yes, it still does sound a little bit boxy. But it's overall, I would say, decent for the price, actually. Quite good. So I'm going to put this in the B tier, actually, not the C tier. I'm going to move it up because I do think it sounds quite good for the price and for the size. And yeah, it has a very fun, enjoyable type tuning that I think most people will like. Okay, so the Audio-Technica A1000Z, I tried out. There's a bright red color here. These are quite good. I like them. Actually, the technicalities and the detail is not like above average. It's actually average, but the thing is the tuning's so well done. I really like how energetic it is. It's got a nice energetic treble. It's not overdone with the bass and everything. It's got really well textured bass actually. The mids are quite decent, and it's quite comfortable to wear. So yeah, overall, I really like the A1000Z actually, and for the price point, I think these are quite good. It's a bit of an older headphone, but I think it's still pretty good for the price, I would say. Yeah, so the A2000Zs, these are the upgrade to the 1000Zs. Actually, they look pretty similar to the AP2000 Ti's, which are newer, with the titanium ear cups and everything. But yeah, it's like the 1000Zs, but with even more detailed treble, I would say, and even more textured bass. So it's good for people who like their energetic type of V-shaped type of headphone. So it's fun sounding. It's V-shaped just like the 1000Z. It's just got better technicalities, better sounding bass, better textured bass and treble and across the board. So yeah, overall it's a nice upgrade to the 1000Zs, and I'll put them in the same category. So the Beyerdynamic DT1990 Pro Mark IIs. These are the upgraded version of the DT1990 Pros, which I put in my previous ranking video at the B tier. And this one I'm going to put in the same tier because I really like the DT1990 Pros, actually. I felt they were nice, fun, slightly V-shaped, energetic type headphones. With these ones are just like the DT1990 Pros, except they got more detail, wider soundstage, better technicalities across the board because it is the Mark II version. It is bright, just like the original, and it's treble forward. However, for me, it's okay. You know, some people might be like, "Oh no, it's too bright," and they don't like that. But for me, it was okay. You know, so the Mark IIs are also okay for me. And to be honest, the sound kind of similar to the Audio-Technica 2000Zs as well. So they're both kind of this energetic, slightly V-shaped type headphones. If you like your fun energetic headphones, definitely check it out. So the Beyerdynamic DT1770 Pro Mark IIs. I actually did not try the originals, so I don't have a reference unlike the 1990s, but yeah, these are like the closed back version of the 1990s, right? So it performs similar to the 1990 Pros, except it's got slightly less soundstage, and that's to be expected because it's a closed back. But the detail and the tuning is very similar. So technicality-wise, detail resolution is similar to the 1990 Pro Mark II's. Soundstage is less because it's closed back, obviously. 1990 Pros are semi-open. But yeah, overall tuning is similar. So you got the nice energetic, slightly V-shaped type tuning. And yeah, overall sounds pretty good. You know, another one I would probably recommend if you just want to have a fully closed version of the 1990 Pros, you can pick up the DT1770 Pros instead. Okay, so the HiFiMan Ananda Nanos. These ones are pretty good. I like them. So they're on the bright side, just like a lot of HiFiMans basically on the bright side. But overall, the tuning is quite balanced, I would say. It's quite detailed. And overall, the technicalities are just above average across the board. And honestly, something to be expected when it comes to HiFiMan. I just generally find that their stuff at their price, especially if it's on sale, you can often get like a pretty good deal on them, and they'll straight up beat all the other headphones at their price tier. So yeah, it's quite detailed. It's above average soundstage for the price. Just what HiFiMan does, you know, at their price range for Edition XS or Ananda or Aria or HE1000, they all pretty much beat other headphones at the same price when it comes to detail and soundstage. So the HiFiMan Edition XS is actually one of my favorite HiFimans, and one of my favorite headphones at this price point, actually. Is not quite as detailed as the Ananda is, but that's to be expected, right? It's not as expensive as the Ananda is. It's like the one tier below the Anandas. Not as detailed as the Edition XVs, because that one's newer. But the reason why I put this one above the XVs is just because I think it's a bit better value for the price. Basically, like it's close enough to the XVs in terms of the technicalities, but you're not paying quite as much. Especially like this is like an older headphone now. You can definitely find it on sale for much cheaper. It's got more bass than the Anandas do. But hey, that means that, you know, some people might enjoy this more, you know, if you're more into the fun tunings. So yeah, this is not like a neutral tuning. This is like more of a fun tuning. It's got more bass. But yeah, overall, you can usually find this on sale for quite cheap. So I would recommend to anyone, just pick this up because you can easily find it on sale right now. And it's going to be a better value than the XVs are, to be honest, because it's going to sound like close enough to XV. Not going to be quite as detailed as XV, but close enough, and you're going to get it a lot cheaper. So the HiFiMan Sundara closed backs. Honestly, I didn't think that I was going to like these because, well, it's a HiFiMan closed back and most of them suck. But actually, these are not bad. You know, like the original Sundaras, the open backs, I put those in the A tier in my original ranking because they are one of the best, probably the best sounding headphone you can get at its price. But yeah, the closed backs are pretty good as well. It sound, yeah, like Sundara, but it's like the closed back version of Sundara. So you got similar tuning to Sundara's, which is like kind of like a fun tuning, I would say. Balanced but kind of fun sounding. And the closed back is a bit more bassy than the original, I would say. But the soundstage not quite as wide because it's closed back. It's still pretty good for the price. Of course, if you compare it to the Edition XS or the Ananda, it's not going to have as much detail as those headphones are, but that's to be expected because it's, first of all, it's not as expensive as those headphones. Sundara is like a level below Edition XS/XV and Ananda, plus the fact that it's closed back. So it doesn't, the soundstage isn't quite as wide, so you can't expect to have as good technicalities, but overall, it's actually quite decent, I would say. For a closed back at this price, I was kind of surprised that HiFiMan actually made an okay sounding closed back, I would say. Okay, I finally get to try out the Grado SR225X. This is one of Grado's most popular headphones. They're quite mid-forward, I would say, which is a good thing because I do like my mids. It's got above average mid detail. It's a bit light on the bass, and of course it's not that comfortable because it's Grado. You know, they kind of just fit right on your ears. They're more like on-ears. Headband is not that comfortable either. But overall, like, yeah, I do like the mid-forward sound and the mid-detail on this. It's quite good. So I think that's what Grado's good at. Grado's good at having, well, it's overly bright for some people, but they're really good at the mids, actually. Okay, so the Grado SR325X. This is the upgrade to the 225 for only 75 bucks more. Yeah, these are basically a slightly more detailed version than the 225, but it's not like a huge difference. It's like the only slightly more detail, maybe like 10% more. Not a crazy amount of difference. It's got more bass than the 225X. Overall, I think I like it a bit better for the tuning. So detail-wise, it's close, but I like the 325X a bit more because it's not like bass lean. Because 225 I found a little bit bass lean. This one is a bit more bass and therefore a little bit more bounced. Still got the mid detail too. So yeah, overall I like it slightly better, but I'll put it in the same tier because well, technicality-wise, they're actually kind of similar. Okay, so the Sivga Answer, I actually like these better than the Aureals because it has all the detail and soundstage of the Aureals, but it's got noticeably better bass quality and bass quantity. So it's fairly well tuned, I would say. And the price is not bad. You know, it's fairly affordable actually. So yeah, overall, I can recommend the Answer because yeah, I think this is like, yeah, better tuned than the Aureals, and soundstage and detail are quite decent for the price. Yeah, overall, it's a nice solid pick for the $200 price point, I would say. And looks actually not bad either. It's got that nice wood finish on the wood cups. So Sivga Loan looks like a bigger version of the Answer, and that's because it essentially is just a slightly better Answer. For $100 more, you get slightly more detail across the board compared to the Answer, and similar tuning, I would say. So yeah, everything I just said about the Sivga Answer applies to the Loan. It's just a slightly more detailed version for slightly more money. And for that, I'm going to put it in the same tier because essentially, yeah, like you're getting a little bit better detail and technicalities, but you're also paying a little bit more. So it's about the same overall, I would say, in terms of the price point. So yeah, if you like the Answer, you'll like the Loan as well. So Moondrop Para 2. This is by Moondrop, which usually makes IEMs in the Chi-Fi category. But they also make full-size headphones as well. And the Para 2 is pretty good. I like the bass texture. It's got excellent bass detail and texture here. It's a bit V-shaped for sure. The mids are definitely recessed. However, I usually don't like too V-shaped or recessed mids, but I do have to appreciate the excellent bass on this, and it's like V-shaped done pretty well, I would say. So if you like V-shaped type tuning, which means like more energetic type tuning, yeah, you can check it out. And if you like your bass, this has pretty good bass texture and detail. Austrian Audio, they finally made a headphone that I didn't hate. The X65s, yeah, these are quite a bit better than the X50s and X55s. First of all, Austrian Audio, they're based in Austria, obviously. They're made up of former AKG employees. AKG is also Austrian company originally. After they were taken over by Samsung, a lot of the employees formed Austrian Audio. And yeah, the X65 is pretty good. Definitely out of the Austrian headphones I tested, this was my favorite. I haven't tested their really expensive stuff like the Composer yet though. But yeah, this one has excellent mids, very good treble detail, very good clarity, and yeah, overall it's mid and treble forward, but the bass is kind of light. So I'm not going to say that the tuning is like something I really like, because I do think it's slightly bass light and maybe a little bit too mid and treble forward. But overall, it's pretty excellent technicalities across the board. So definitely a lot better than the X50 and 55s. So the Meze 105 AER, this is like, they took the same design as the 109 Pros. Like you can tell, it's the same design as 109 Pros. Just they removed some of the nicer wood stuff from the cups. This is like 90% of the 109 Pros for like half the price, to be honest. So 109 Pros are kind of like this nice bounce tuning, like slightly V-shaped, but overall fairly balanced. Yeah, the 105 AER is like, yeah, like pretty much it gets there 80-90% of 109 Pros, and yeah, less than half the price, to be honest. So this is a pretty good deal, you know. I think the 109 Pros were good. I think I also put that in the B tier. 105 AERs. I'm also going to put in the same tier, actually. Yeah, if you guys are looking for a nice balanced sounding headphone with a decent amount of detail, I'm not going to say the technicalities are that much better than the price. Like the reason why I'm not going to put this in the A tier. It's got great tuning. It's just the technicalities are kind of average, and that was the case with the 109 Pros as well. To be honest, the technicalities were just average. Detail soundstage was very average. So yeah, kind of average detail and soundstage, but very good tuning, I would say. So the Focal lenses. Yeah, these ones by French company Focal. They're well known for making both loudspeakers and headphones. Yeah, this is pretty good, as you would expect from Focal. It's got very good mid detail. However, interestingly, it has more bass than most Focals do. So most Focals that I listen to, their bass is just kind of lean. The exception probably being Radiance. Radiance has a good amount of bass, but yeah, this one also has a lot of a good amount of bass as well. However, the treble is a bit light, and the other thing is the Focals, pretty much all of them, the soundstage is not that wide. So even the Utopias, the soundstage is not very wide. So don't expect much soundstage from any Focal, even though they're open back technically. But yeah, actually this one is, I'm not sure if these ones are open back or not. It looks like closed back, but it doesn't matter because the soundstage is the same anyways. Yeah, good mid detail, and then the bass is a little bit more than most Focals, which I think is appreciated. Just the treble is a bit light. So anyways, I think this is above average. I put it here. So Aiyun SR7000 by Chinese audio company Aiyun. Yeah, these ones are okay too. Pretty good actually. Excellent soundstage, and the tuning is quite neutral and balanced sounding. So overall, I think these are quite good. I like them. So yeah, really like the soundstage, and overall the tuning I think will satisfy most people because it's got this neutral, balanced type of tuning. So I would say yeah, just kind of above average across the board. So yeah, pretty decent and solid. Okay, so the Audeze LCD S20. Audeze is one of those companies that they're headquartered in California. They're one of the pioneers of planar magnetic headphones, I would say. Like HiFiMan and Audeze are pretty much the headphone companies that brought planar magnetics into the mainstream. I would say mainstream in quotes because it's really just for audiophiles. But yes, Audeze LCD S20, I've only heard a few Audezes before. Technically, like most of them, I don't really like too much because I found them a little bit too warm for my liking, and the price is always a little bit too much and not too comfortable to wear either. But this one's actually not bad. The LCD S20s, I would say, are yeah, better than I expected. They got excellent mid detail and bass, and treble's a bit light, but it's okay overall. You know, the tuning is just quite decent overall, even though the treble's a bit light. But it's got very good mids and bass, and technicalities, I would say it's actually above average. It's not too expensive. So I was actually quite impressed with these. So yeah, not too bad. The Fostex TH616s. So yeah, as mentioned before, Fostex are a Japanese headphone company that makes both OEM headphones for other brands before, but they also have their own brand. They were originally called Foster. But yeah, TH16s I think are kind of a newer headphone by them. It's got a nice W-shaped tuning, which is like they push up the upper mids as well as the bass and treble. So overall, like it'll be good for a lot of modern genres, like pop and stuff. It's well detailed across the board, and it's got good bass, good mids, and good treble. So overall, yes, above average technicalities across the board. So quite good actually. So I think for $900, yeah, it's a little bit above average, and I don't have any problem recommending these to anyone. I think these are open backs as well. You can tell from that ear cup there, and it's got this nice wood finish, so I do like that. Okay, so the Grado RS1X, these are part of their reference series, one of their more expensive headphones actually. This is pretty good, I like it. It's got excellent mids and treble, as you would expect from Grados in general. Very detailed, lots of clarity. However, bass is a bit light. That tends to be the case with Grado headphones, and also not too comfortable, which also tends to be the case with Grado headphones. It's interesting because yeah, I feel like Grado headphones, like maybe because they have like an older background or whatever, it does focus a bit more on the mids and treble, kind of like I want to say electrostatics and yeah, some of the other like more reference style headphones I would say from the past kind of sound like this. So maybe it's just like, yeah, that's their the Grado house sound, I guess you could say, is most of their headphones have very good mids, bright and good detailed treble, but it might be a little bit too bright for some people. Bass is on the light side, and this is just the case for a lot of their headphones. But anyways, RS1X is very good. I do like my mids, and for me, I'm treble sensitive, but I think this is okay. It gives lots of clarity without being too harsh or fatiguing for me. So the Audio-Technica ADX 7000s, these are their flagship open back headphones that retail for $3,500. I do think it is a bit overpriced. That's why I'm not going to put them in the A or S tier. I will note that I haven't heard the ADX 5000, by the way, but they've got warm, detailed bass. It's kind of neutral-ish with a bass boost. Technicalities, definitely above average, right? I mean, $3,000 headphone, it should be, right? But it doesn't feel endgame level technicalities for me. Because, I've tried a lot of very high-end headphones. Does not feel at the same level of like HE1000 Unveiled or something. Not at that level. But it's interesting because the tonality is like on the warm side, which is not typical for any Japanese headphone, and definitely not for Audio-Technica. Usually Audio-Technica headphones are bright sounding. Yeah, just like Denon and Fostex, right? They're usually like bright sounding, but it's got this Audize type warmth to it with the bass, which is interesting. Anyways, yes, it is above average sounding, neutral with a bass boost tonality and tuning. Overall, it's not bad. Definitely I would say it's an above average sounding headphone for sure, but I'm not going to put it any higher just because I do think it's a bit overpriced still. Okay, final D8000 DC. These are the flagship headphones from the Japanese headphone company Final Audio. Final Audio makes a range of IEMs. I would say most of their IEMs sound okay. They're not like really good because I think a lot of them are just way too bright for me. But they're okay, and their headphones, their open back planar magnetics are pretty good as well. I remember I put the D8000, original D8000s in the B tier as well. But this is the newer version, the DC version. Yeah, I'm still going to put it in the same tier. Because honestly, like, I don't think that their technicalities are, like, so much better than some of the other headphones at the same price point. Honestly, $4,800 US, like, I don't think the technicalities are actually better than HE1000 Unveiled, which is a lot cheaper. It's like $2,000 cheaper. I would say like this is like just like what I said about the Audio-Technica ADX 7000s. I think these are definitely above average in terms of technicalities, detail, resolution, soundstage, etc., but not in game level. And it's got a similar tonality with the ADX 7000. It's got like kind of a neutral type tuning with a bass boost. However, I would say this is definitely more on the bright side compared to the ADX 7000s, which are more on the warm side. So really, like, yeah, Final D8000 DC and ADX 7000 are similar level, I would say, in terms of technicalities and tuning. Just D8000 DC is a bit brighter, ADX 7000 is a bit warmer. Both are a little bit overpriced, I would say. Both a bit overpriced. Probably D8000 DC a little bit more so, because this is more expensive than the ADX 7000. So, yeah, it's definitely more overpriced. But still, I mean, yeah, I mean, it is like a very high-end headphone, built really well, obviously, made in Japan and everything. But yeah, it's a little bit overpriced for what you get out of it, I think. But the tuning's fine, neutral bass boost. I think a lot of audiophiles will like that. So the Beyerdynamic DT990 Pro X starts off my A tier here. Yeah, the reason I have this in A tier is because this is essentially an open back version of the DT700 Pro X that I put in the A tier in my previous ranking video. But it has slightly wider soundstage because it's open back, right? But it's got similar sound signature, which means it's quite balanced sounding. Yeah, it's like more leaning neutral, but with a bass boost, I would say. Is what the sound signature would be. But yeah, excellent balanced type of tuning, very good clarity and detail. It is on the bright side because it is a Beyerdynamic and treble forward, but it's not like too harsh or fatiguing or anything. Overall, yeah, it's an open back version of DT700 Pro X, which I've already put in the A tier. This one just has a wider soundstage because it's open back. So anyways, I'm going to put this one in the A tier as well. I mean, for $200, this is probably one of the best headphones you can get for this price. So the HiFiMan Ananda Unveiled, this is the newest version of their Ananda using the unveiled technology that they put in their other higher end headphones. Yeah, this is like the best version of Ananda. When I heard it, it actually sounds close to Aria level of detail in soundstage, and that's pretty impressive because like I already liked the Aria. I already thought the Aria Stealth, which was one of my favorite headphones at that price range. Yeah, this sounds close to Aria Stealth, honestly, in terms of technicalities, and tuning is very balanced sounding. So yeah, I like the tuning, very balanced sounding. Most people will like it. It's an all-arounder, and the level of technicalities is it's like equal to that of $1,000 headphone basically. So really really good. I really like Ananda Unveiled. It's yeah, I think this is one of the best headphones at this price point. So the HiFiMan HE400 SC. I know this is a bit of an older headphone, but the reason I'm putting it in A tier is because it's absolutely fantastic value for the price. $150 US. Like you can get often even cheaper than that because it's on sale a lot. It's an older headphone, but wow, what great value you get, right? I mean, excellent detail for this price point, and very balanced tuning that leans energetic, definitely like a bright energetic sounding headphone, but overall still fairly balanced sounding, and very good technicalities for this price, like for $150, right? This is probably one of the best sounding headphones you can get for this price point, so I highly recommend it. Okay, so the Aoun AR5000, I'm really beginning to like Aoun headphones. I think that for the price, $300 US, like outstanding technicalities for that price. Soundstage, detail, it's got a neutral bounce tuning. So tuning overall, it's a nice, well-rounded, all-arounder type tuning that I think most people will like. Combined with the fact that for $300, technicalities wise, will beat most other headphones in this price point because, yeah, the level of detail and soundstage that you get is like close to that of $1,000 headphone, to be honest. Like you get a pretty incredible value out of this one. So anyways, for $300, you know, I have no problem recommending this. Anyone who's looking for a headphone at this price point should check out the Aoun AR5000. It is pretty good value. Also in the A tier, I'm putting the Final DX3000 CLs. These cost $600 US, and honestly, like the reason why I'm putting the A tier is because like this sounds about pretty similar to the D8000 Pros, like 80% of the D8000 Pros probably for a fraction of the price. So yeah, that just makes it a lot better value, right? That's why I put like D8000, I put it below this in the B tier because honestly, I think I was kind of overpriced. But the DX3000 on the other hand, yeah, it's like 80% as good as D8000 for $600. And it's got a similar type of U-shaped tuning, I would say, and it's quite detailed. So yeah, overall, it's a very nice headphone, and yeah, I would say if you just want to get a taste of what the D8000 is like for a fraction of the price, definitely it's worth checking this one out. Okay, Audeze MM100. Wow, this must be one of the best tuned Audezes I've ever heard out of stock. You know, a lot of people like to EQ Audezes because stock tuning is a little bit wonky with some of them, but the MM100 just out of the box, stock tuning sounds pretty good. It must be one of the best stock tuned Audezes I've heard. Excellent bounce tuning across the board and good amount of detail, definitely for the price. I mean, yeah, it's not that expensive. Like I'm not gonna say it's like very affordable, but like for $400, most people can still afford it, right? Just a good amount of everything without overdoing it. So I will just call this a very balanced tuning with above average technicalities for the price, and it's probably Audeze's best tuned headphone in my opinion. So I highly recommend this one at this price. Okay, so Fostex TH808. This might be my highest ranked Fostex since the TH610s, and I really did like the 610s. But the 808s, I would say that this is, first of all, it's more detailed than either the 610s or the 616s. And it's a bit more V-shaped, I would say, than both of those. So 610s are a little bit more neutral, kind of balanced sounding, and then TH616s are more W-shaped. 808s are just straight up more V-shaped. And I know like normally I don't like V-shaped as much because it's more mid-recessed, but in this case I think it's done fairly tastefully. It's not like too much so, where the mids are too recessed or anything. And yeah, overall, like technicalities and everything across the board is just clearly better. So yeah, overall, I'm going to put the 808s in the A tier here. It is probably one of my favorite Fostex headphones that I've listened to. So yeah, pretty good, and you still get that nice wood cup, just with open back, right? So you get wider soundstage and stuff. Up next is a collaboration that Aston Kern did with Ultrasone. Aston Kern being the digital audio player company from South Korea. Yeah, they often do collaborations for their IEMs and headphones. And yeah, this is the Virtuoso. I think it retails for around $880 or $900 US. This is surprisingly quite good. I didn't expect it to be that good. Honestly, like a lot of the collaborations AK did, I feel like it's kind of overpriced. But this one is pretty good. It's got very good technicalities across the board, soundstage and detail, resolution. It's got a nice balanced W-shaped tuning, so I think most people will like this tuning, especially for modern music. Yeah, it's a nice one for like a nice energetic type sound without losing the mids, and yeah, excellent technicalities, soundstage and detail across the board. So overall, quite impressed with this one. So yeah, I'm putting it here. So also in the A tier is probably the most expensive headphone in this video, and one of the most expensive probably I ever tested, the HiFiMan Susvara Unveiled. This is the upgraded Susvara, which I also tested before, and I ranked in this tier in the previous video that I did. So the Unveiled is obviously more technical than the original Susvara, which was already really technical. Keeps pretty much the same tuning. It sounds very neutral and flat. And this is actually why I don't like the Susvara as much as some other people do. I know audiophiles are like, yeah, we like the neutral reference sound. The HD800, type of neutral, and the HE1000 V2 is like that too. But for me, I don't like it too much because it doesn't sound very fun or exciting to me. It just sounds like, yeah, very flat. So of course, technicalities wise, resolution and soundstage, this is one of the top headphones on the market. Maybe it is the top, but yeah, for me, it's not quite as fun or energetic as like the HE1000 Unveiled. So yeah, I don't like it quite as much, to be honest. And it's also extremely expensive, $8,000. And it needs a ton of power to drive properly. So yeah, I mean, if you're looking for end game just in terms of technicalities and resolution, yeah, this is one of the picks. But for me, I think tuning comes above technicalities for me. So it's just not my tuning. And the fact that it's extremely pricey and it needs a lot of power to drive as well is, yeah, that's another thing to think about. So yeah, I'm going to put in the A tier, not the S tier here. Okay, so the Dan Clark E3. I've wanted to try these headphones for a very long time because I heard lots of glowing reviews about it, and then I got the Nora X, which is supposed to be the little brother of the E3, right? So I love the Nora X. This just a fantastic headphone for the price. Probably just the best headphone, open or closed, under $1,000, and I still recommend it to people today. So I've always been curious about E3 because I was like, what's the bigger brother of the Nora X like? Well, the thing is, E3 is very good. Obviously, I'm putting still A tier. It's technicalities, the details, soundstage is excellent. Especially like $2,000, yes, still expensive, but top tier technicalities. Compared to Nora X, I think it's a little bit more neutral sounding than Nora X, to be honest. And that's why I don't like it quite as much. I think Nora X is a little bit more fun sounding. Again, this is like with the Susvara, I was the same thing, right? If it sounds a little bit more neutral, I think that is not as interesting to me. So I think E3, it's got like a slight V shape. It's not as much as Nora X's. Nora X just sounds a bit more fun and more dynamic than E3 does. But E3 obviously is better technically than Nora X. But I think I still prefer Nora X just because I prefer the tuning on Nora X a bit better. So yeah, anyways, for $2,000, I think it's not quite as good value as Nora X too. Nora X is $900, and you can get pretty close to E3, to be honest, in terms of detail and soundstage. So you're talking about Nora X, which is like 80% of E3 in terms of detail and soundstage, but it's actually got better tuning for me. So that's why I put Nora X in S tier, and E3 is going to go in the A tier for me. It's not as high because I don't like the tuning as much. The HiFiMan Mini Shangri-Las. So these are the second most affordable electrostatics that HiFiMan makes. HiFiMan makes electrostatics as well, right? They don't just make planar magnetics. It's just like they focus more on planar magnetics, but they also make electrostats, and their absolute flagship top of the line electrostatic is the Shangri-La, which retails for a whopping $50,000 US. Obviously, I am not getting that one, nor do I have the chance to try it. And I don't have the chance to try the Shangri-La Junior either, because that's also like $8,000. It's like the same price as Sesfara. So yeah, mini Shangri-La. This is about something I can afford, right? I like the electrostatic sound a lot, and I haven't tried Jade 2. Jade 2 is the cheaper electrostatic that HiFiMan makes. But Shangri-La, mini Shangri-La, I used it with the Wu Audio WA7E electrostatic amp. And for that pairing, it's okay. I mean, it's like an entry-level electrostatic amp, kind of. And yeah, it's okay. Obviously, it would sound better with the better amp. But yeah, for me, like, this sounded just like typical Stax type of sound, you know? People listen to Stax headphones, and I do like Stax headphones, actually. It's got, the bass is definitely lean, because electrostats don't really have the bass response that people expect. So a lot of people don't like electrostats just because of the lacking bass energy, but for me it's okay. You know, you can always EQ that, but for me, I don't need to have so much bass. I get that it's lean in the bass, but it's fine for me. Treble might be a little bit too bright for some people, but for me it's okay. It's just for electrostats. Some people are like, no, the treble is way too harsh. For me, it's okay. I don't feel it's too harsh. Mids, I think, are the strong point of electrostats in general. I just love the smooth, velvety texture of the mids. So for me, I think, yeah, mini Shangri-La is quite good, you know? I'm not going to say it's like, yeah, I'm not going to say it's like, hey, it's one of the best headphones I've ever listened to, because it's not. Technically, it's not as good as Stax SR009S. You know, that is a better headphone. That's why this is not in S tier like SR009S is, but I'm still going to put it fairly high, and it's still A tier, because yeah, it's a really good, you know, electrostat type sound, typical Stax electrostat type sound. Just it's not going to match up to the technicalities of something like SR009S. I haven't tried SR007S, but it might be similar to that, you know. Okay, so starting off the S tier is a headphone I got quite recently, and it is a very interesting special headphone. This is the Rail SR1A, and this is not like any other headphone because it uses ribbon drivers. That's actually very, very unique. And even for speakers, you don't see ribbon drivers very often. But it's a very unique experience. These do not have ear pads at all. They just have like this thin ribbon, right, that kind of vibrates. And then it's surrounded by these metal plates, and you put them lightly on your head, so it feels like you're wearing like cheese graters. Basically, it looks like cheese graters. You rest the metal lightly against your ears. It's not the most comfortable headphone for sure, but the sound experience is really incredible because it feels like you're not even wearing, like, it doesn't feel like a typical headphone. It feels more like you have mini speakers against your ears, and because of that, I think the tonality is very hard to describe. It's not like yeah, it's like kind of just trying to describe the tonality of a speaker, you know? Like, just think of it, you have like mini monitors right next to your ears. It's hard to describe this compared to other headphones. You know, most headphones you can describe the tuning. This just sounds very natural. It just sounds like a speaker, you know? It's a natural type of sound. Nothing feels like it's missing. Nothing feels like it's too recessed or too pushed up. Overall, it just sounds very natural, like you're listening to a nicely tuned pair of studio monitor speakers. Basically, that's what it sounds like, but right next to your ears. And soundstage is very good because it doesn't feel like you're wearing headphones. It feels like the sound is just kind of enveloping. So yeah, for that, it's a really special, unique headphone. It's quite expensive. I actually got it at a good price. You know, I didn't pay the full amount, but yeah, it's definitely a very unique experience. So I had to put in the S tier because truly it's not like any other headphone I've ever tried. The soundstage is, imaging especially, I think is the best of any headphone I've heard. And it just sounds very natural. So yeah, it doesn't really sound like other headphones, but I will put it here because it is unique. Okay, the HiFiMan HE1000 unveiled. These are the upgraded version of the HE1000 line that HiFiMan has. Yeah, these are probably one of the best, if not the best, planar magnetic headphones I've ever heard. The thing is, I like this better than Susvara Unveiled because I like the tuning on this better. So it's got very, very good technicalities in terms of detail, resolution, soundstage. It's like probably, again, I'm going to say 80% that of Susvara. It's quite close to that of Susvara. And the tuning I actually like better than Susvara because it's not a flat neutral tuning, but rather it's a more balanced W-shaped tuning. So yeah, it's doesn't have the flatness, doesn't have the neutrality of Susvara. It has more of the similar type of tuning to Aria Stealth, which is one of my favorite headphones in terms of tuning. Yeah, it's got a nice W-shaped tuning where it's like nothing is too recessed or too pushed up. It's just got, you know, a decent bass push and treble push and like a mid push as well. So yeah, overall it just sounds more fun and dynamic than the Susvara does. You know, it's got more bass, just sounds more fun and dynamic and more energetic. So I like the tuning better than Susvara, and probably one of the best, yeah, planar magnetic headphones I've listened to. You combine it with the technicalities, which are top tier, and then you combine that with very fun tuning. So yeah, really one of my favorite headphones, I would say. Okay, so the Meze Empyrean 2s. I'm also going to put this in the S tier because I really like these as well. So when it comes to Meze, they never tune their headphones to be like too flat or neutral or whatever. They always tune their headphones to be very fun sounding. And yeah, the Empyrean 2s are very fun sounding. Definitely not reference or neutral or whatever. It's definitely got like a V-shaped tuning or a lean V-shaped, I would say. Very good bass. Good technicalities, and overall just very fun. Yeah, I'm not going to say it's going to sound as technical as HE1000 Unveiled. I still think HE1000 Unveiled is technically better, but Empyrean 2 does come close, and it is more comfortable, because Meze headphones are fairly comfortable, I would say, and probably even more fun than HE1000 Unveiled, I would say. And it leans warm because I think that Meze headphones generally have a warmer type of tonality to them. HiFiMans tend to be bright. So it's a different type of tonality. Yeah, overall, I think Empyrean 2s are probably my favorite Mezes. I like them better than the Elites. The Elites I felt like it was a bit too overpriced, and bass was a little bit too much, I think, for me. But Empyrean 2s I think are just well-tuned, so I like them. Okay, so the Audeze LCD 5s. Yeah, these ones I really liked as well. I listened to the LCD 2s before, of course, and I feel like this is just like a souped up version of LCD 2s, you know? And LCD 2s are pretty good. I didn't put them like necessarily very high up because like it is kind of uncomfortable for wearing any Audeze, right? And a little bit too warm, but I liked LCD 5. Maybe it's because of the equipment I was using. I was using the Vioelectric amp when I was at Fujiya, but it sounded pretty good. Like normally I would say Audeze is like a little bit too warm. LCD 2 is a little bit too warm for me and dark sounding. But LCD 5, it does have that warmth, but it's not like overwhelming me. It's got nice textured bass. It's warm bass, but it's very well textured. Technicalities are quite good. I would say roughly similar level to HE1000 Unveiled. So it's quite good. Of course, this is more expensive than HiFiMan's HE1000 Unveiled, but still, I mean, I would say technicalities are probably on that level. Tuning is like similar to the Meze Empyrean 2, I would say. So it's got this, or similar to LCD 2 rather. You know, it's not reference or anything, but it's got a fairly fun type of tuning to it. You know, so leaning like W-shaped, like the Empyrean 2 is. So yeah, overall, you guys can tell that I like to have more fun tunings. I don't like them necessarily too V-shaped, but definitely I don't like too neutral either. I just like to have that nice in between. And yeah, LCD 5 hits that too. So like HE1000 Unveiled, Empyrean 2, LCD 5, they all hit that, where it's kind of like this nice fun tuning that's not overdoing it too much. And yeah, I can still say that yes, LCD 5 is a bit overpriced, of course, but you know, I still like the tuning on it. And honestly, I think I might prefer it to CRBN. I haven't tried CRBN 2s, but I remember that CRBN, maybe just because I didn't get too impressed because I was trying right after Stax SR009 and Dan Clark Carinas. It didn't seem as impressive as that, but I didn't try CRBN 2s. They actually had CRBN 2 there. I should have asked for it. They had Stax X9000 there as well. I should have asked for that too. But yeah, I think the LCD5s are good. It's probably my top headphones, so I'm going to put it in the S tier here. Now for my final headphone in my S tier is the Oizatik Sharbrous. So this headphone, I know it looks ridiculous. It's absolutely massive when you wear it. So it's a ridiculous looking headphone, but this headphone is probably one of the best headphones I've listened to. Like, if I were to rank them, yeah, I think this might actually be the best headphone I've ever listened to. And then with Stax SR009S, and then either LCD5 or HU1000 Unveiled coming after that. But yeah, the Sharbrous, this is like, I kept listening to this, honestly. Like, I know I was just supposed to demo for a few minutes for each of these, but wow, this headphone is like top tier technicalities, first of all, right? So it's maybe not quite Susvara Unveiled level, but like, let's say it's like, you know, HU1000 Unveiled level, which is still top tier. Everything is extremely forward. Everything is extremely detailed. The tuning is kind of this Harman tuning, so it's very balanced sounding. Well, not balanced sounding in like, you know, neutral type of way, but it's balanced sounding in a fun type of way, which is what Harman is basically. So it's like this fun, energetic type of tuning that I think most people will like, especially for modern music, which I like as well. I'm okay with Harman tuning. You know, sometimes the bass might be a little bit too much, but in this case, the bass is definitely pushed up, but it's probably the best bass I've ever heard. Like, the bass is extremely hard hitting. It's extremely textured, and yeah, I think just from the bass alone, it's wow. I had to put this headphone up there. Like the bass is so hard hitting, and it's hard to explain unless you guys have heard this headphone. It's like it's got so much slam and power in the bass, and yeah, it's got a nice Harman tuning and everything, and the technicals are top tier. But having that powerful bass there, yeah, it's got to go on top. It's just thunderous bass, man. What can I say? It's very textured. I've never heard anything like it. You know, now the RAL SR1A actually I might have in my top 3 as well, but it's just such a different headphone. It's hard to rank. It's so unlike other headphones. But yeah, the Sharbrous. In terms of planar magnetics, I said the HU1000 Unveiled might be my top planar magnetic, right? But honestly, Sharbrous, it has that extreme hard-hitting bass, and probably this is actually my top headphone. And it is probably the top planar magnetic by extension. So yeah, I'm going to have to put this over HU1000 Unveiled, just because it does have like that fun sound signature to it, but yeah, technicalities might be on par or a little bit better, but that bass is hard to beat. So you guys really have to try this headphone to know what I'm talking about. Anyways, Sharbrous is going to my S tier.